8 years ago today, I was waking up as a university student. I'd woken up the day before after a long wait for my A-level results, logged into the university's office portal and found out that I had got into my first place at university, my preferred place. And I was elated. I grew up in a household where nobody had gone to university, and here I was getting into a Russell Group university. I mean, yes, I was 3 months pregnant at the time and had to take a year out to have a baby, then take my baby to university with me, which wasn't ideal, nor easy for that matter, but it didn't matter because I had got into university. And back then, the university still felt like a golden ticket to a better life. The promise of university was a more prosperous life, a good career, higher earnings. 8 years on, and what a different world it is for today's budding university students. A-level pupils have been told to prepare for disappointment when results are announced this Thursday. The Office for Students has predicted that there will be a spike in the number of applications being rejected. This comes after exam boards were ordered to get a handle on spiralling grade inflation by grading students more harshly than previously. Now, this means that students face opening their A-level results, and instead of the A's and B's their teachers have confidently predicted, they may instead see far more C's than they bargained for. Now, most of us will know a young person in this position, whether it's our own children, grandchildren, or family and friends. And the sad reality is, this cohort of young people coming of age have been the unfortunate victims of a series of unfortunate events beyond their control, events that are having a demoralising and even devastating effect on their futures. Now, whilst it's tempting, I wouldn't go as far as saying young people have never had it so bad. I mean, they're not living in a world war, for one. But nevertheless, the prospects are indeed bleak. A-level students have just had 2 years of educational disruptions because of lockdowns in the most crucial years of their lives so far. Lockdowns in which, by the way, more than half of final year students reported losing their jobs or internships. Only to emerge out of that lockdown being told that even the brightest students could very well miss out on that much coveted place they've worked so hard for. And this all comes at a time when even going to university in the first place is more expensive than ever. The student debt owed to us, the taxpayer, having been borrowed by students, of course, has quadrupled in the 10 years. Last 10 years, the government forecast that the average debt for students who started their courses this academic year will be a whopping £45,800 by the time they finish. And by the way, only 20% of those are even expected to be able to pay back their student loans in full. I actually looked at my student loan this morning and it was at £67,000. That's how much I need to pay back. And there's the fact that universities are cesspits of hardline left-wing ideology with censorship and cultural dogma rife. I mean, never mind education. Indoctrination is the stock in trade for our once respected universities these days. I mean, even if you're a high achiever and good enough for the likes of Oxford and Cambridge, it ain't looking so good either, because new figures show that for the first time, 4 in 10 UK applicants are turned away from these two elite institutions, as those institutions opt for overseas students instead, who, of course, bring in far more cash for the unis. In fact, in one of our top universities, the London School of Economics, a staggering 70% of students are from overseas, which is an unwelcome reality for those British students who have to fight over that 30%. Look, I don't purport to have the answers to how we can resolve this dire situation for the country's young, and in fact, I fear there are not many quick and feasible answers at all. And in any case, solving the messes the government keeps getting us in is well above my pay grade. But what I am saying is that as the government rightly focuses on what the future will look like, what with spiralling inflation, energy crises, and just a generally crumbling state, it should not lose sight of the people who we will all need in the future. The future taxpayers, the future scientists and engineers, future doctors and nurses. And if we continue the collective industrial level neglect of our adolescents, we do so very much at our own peril.